Hello everyone and welcome back to My Opinion. And in this video, I'll be previewing match 38 of IPL 2025 between the Mumbai Indians and the Chennai Super Kings. This match will be played in Mumbai. Let's get into this preview. Starting off with the Mumbai Indians, the first or the inaugural season match for these two teams was played in Chennai. And I'd said whether Hardik Pandya was available or not, Mumbai Indians would lose that match. They did lose that match, and that's because looking at their squad, I don't feel it is equipped to go well on the slower surfaces. But in this case, they'll be fancying their chances a lot more after winning their last two matches. And looking at the squad they've got, I feel they have got a better chance to do well on this kind of a surface than what they would have played on at the start of the season against Chennai. And I think they will go with the same 11 or the unchanged 11 that I will read out. But I'll read this out anyway. I've gone with Rohit Sharma and Ryan Rickerton to open, Boo Jacks number 3, Tilak Verma 4, Suryakumar Yadav 5. I'll get to that in a bit. Hardik Pandya 6, Naman Dev 7, Mitchell Santner 8, Deepak Chahar 9, Jasid Bumrah 10, Trent Bolt 11, and Karan Sharma to be the impact sub. On Tilak Verma and Suryakumar Yadav, before the previous match, I would have left out Boo Jackson, played Bevan Jacobs down the order. So Tilak can play at 3, Suryakumar 4, Hardik 5, and you can play Bevan Jacobs 6 with Naman Dev 7. Or they could have played, since in 1K, they could have played Corbin Bosch down the order. He could also add to the bowling. Then you could play the lineup as it is Tilak Verma number 3. However, with 4 fast bowlers, I don't think it's a necessity. They could have done it, but I don't think it would have added to things that much. But since Wu Jacks did okay the previous match, I don't think they will drop him. So to make things easier for Tilak Verma, and at this venue, the ball moves around the first 6 overs, and the first 10 overs of the setting phase, you've got to get at an 80 for 2 mark. So Rohit Sharma going aggressively, Ryan Rickerton going aggressively. If 2 wickets fall in the power play, I've said this about Shreyas Iyer as well. Suryakumar Yadav, ideally, in this scenario, I'd want him walking out after the power play if quality fast balls are bowling in the first 6, and CSK have got those quality fast balls in Anshul Kamboj and Khalil Ahmed. But when he debuted for India, he batted at 5. I think he scored a 60-odd against England. He can't play that role, especially on a surface like this. Tilak Verma is a player who's more technically sound, and he has got the ability to build an innings and score at the end. I feel batting at 5, he's adapting well. It's out of his comfort zone, and I feel batting at 4 would be more comfortable for him. So I've gone with him at 4. Shreyas Iyer, Suryakumar Yadav, I've been mentioning another player for CSK as well in the next segment, where no matter how talented you are, when the ball's moving around, if you walk out before the 4-over mark ends in T20 cricket, it will be a single-digit score. We've seen Shreyas Iyer when he's walked out before the 4th over in the last ball. And the same will happen to Suryakumar in this case. And also the same will happen to the next player we're mentioning as well from CSK. Apart from that, there's not too much to say about the side. Trent Bolt surprisingly hasn't been in the wickets. But if you're looking at the experience of the 3 seamers, Deepak Chahar, Trent Bolt, Bumrah is not the same Bumrah. You can see by the way he's running in. Because of the injury breaks and the action hasn't been changed, you've got bowlers like him and Archer who've got to rely on hitting their straps the moment they return. That happened when he returned in the Ireland series before the World Cup. But apart from that, if you keep on having to do that, then it can become difficult to hit your straps. So I will not blame him thus far. And I will not blame him anyway, because I feel he's at the situation, him and Archer, where it's unpredictable. You don't know how they're going to do because of the injury situation. Apart from that, I would not say there's too much to think about for this team. They're a loaded side. They had a good auction in the previous year. They've got a loaded squad this year, despite I thought there weren't many backups after the auction. And them being 1-1 lost for, the strategical errors have been there. And a part of me thinks that will that persist throughout the season, and will they have another disappointing finish? And I hope they don't. I'd like both MI and CSK to qualify, but there's not much to say about this team. This is the best 11 they can play, and I want CSK to win, of course, but I'd like Mumbai to qualify along with CSK. And now for Chennai, there is more to talk about them because they've signed Dior Brevis. A lot of people are happy about it, and understandably so because he's in good form. Now, at the end of the previous match, or in the aftermath of the previous match, I'd suggested an 11 where the 4 overseas players would be Rachin Ravindra, Sam Kerr number 3, because since they weren't bowling Patirana early on, they could bowl Sam Kerr on the power play if need be. And compared to the batting options, is he a power hitter? No, but he's got the ability to soak up pressure at the start. He's not a power hitter, but he knows how to score runs towards the end. Matisha Patirana, since I knew they wouldn't drop him, and then you've got Noor Ahmed who can't be dropped. Now, Matisha Patirana, especially in this venue, the death bowling from a bowling point, the death bowling is a crucial factor you've got to get right at this venue to win the match. So if they are going to use him in that role, I would like him to bowl at least one before the 10-over mark, but I don't think they would do that. And where I'm getting to here is, if Dior Brevis has to play, you've got to drop one of Sam Curran and Patirana. And how you'd make a decision is, you think, from a bowling perspective. Patirana is bowling at least 2 out of 4. He's bowling 2 meaningless overs we've seen every match. And those are usually his last 2 overs. At times they can go for runs, at times they won't go for runs. How has that impacted the outcome of the match for CSK? It's done nothing. In that case, Sam Curran can offer batting and can bowl the death if need be. Now, are you going to be scared of a menacing quick Yorker from Sam Curran? Has he got that as in his armory? I don't think so. But Noor Ahmed can bowl 1 at the death. Sam Curran can bowl 1 or 2. You can manage, and then with a bat, you can get that value that you wouldn't get out of Patirana. And you can play Dior Brevis, which you can add to that as well. It's about how you use your resources correctly. And I'll say this again. You saw Jamie Overton in the previous match. It was a slot where they're batting him way too low and he cannot bowl 1 over in these conditions, according to me. R. Ashwin in Mumbai, we've seen the finger spinner duo over the wrist spinner. Jadeja hasn't bowled 4 overs in any match. And Noor Ahmed has got the class to bowl on any surface. But if he doesn't go ahead, given the record at this venue, Jadeja's not bowling 4 overs, they're not bowling Rachin. You've not got the economical spin. If Patirana goes to runs at the end, you've got a problem, which is why R. Ashwin to cover for the overs of Patirana, and he can bat at number 8. Since Dhoni doesn't change the combinations, usually even if the team loses, however, the batting lineup will surely be changed. And with a player like Ashwin who's taken 500 test wickets, and we've seen how Dhoni has got the best out of Ashwin, Ashwin's got the best out of himself, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't include him in, and I don't see a reason why you should drop. The team's been struggling at dropping that kind of a play. He's only going to add value to your side if you use him correctly, so I feel he has to play. Based on a template I'll go with, I've gone with Ayush Matre, Rachin Ravindra, Sheikh Rashid, Dior Brevis 4. Jadeja 5 at Dubey will also be in, Dhoni 6, Ashwin 7, Anshu Kamboj 8, Matisha Patirana 9, Khalil Ahmed 10, Noor Ahmed 11 in the impact sub to be Shivam Dubey. So, in this case, will they play Ashwin? I don't know. But if you don't play him, what's the point? Because the only other option is Vansh Bedi. And if Dhoni bats at 8, I don't think that I wouldn't agree with that. We saw in 2 matches ago the ridiculous impacts of. I hope that kind of thing doesn't happen again in the starting 11. So I would play Ashwin, who's a very handy number 8, and he can bowl the overs of off spin, which would go well at this venue. With this side, you've got more of what it takes to succeed at this venue, because the soundness, the technical soundness up front, Ayush Matre class, Rachin Ravindra class, Sheikh Rashid class, and on Dior Brevis, the 3rd player who I'm mentioning in the category of Shreyas Said and Suryakumar Yadav. We've seen the previous year against the Rajasthan Royals, he's playing for Mumbai. They send him out as an impact sub when facing Trent Bolt. He gets out for a golden duck. He cannot bat earlier than number 4. And again, I'm saying before, and in Dior Brevis' case, before the end of the 6th over, at least the end of the 5th over, in these conditions against this attack, if they get too greedy and send him out at 3, he would not go well. You've got to know how to use the players. Sheikh Rashid is a number 3. Ayush Matre can open the batting, so you've got those two there. Sheikh Rashid 3, Dior is 4. That's the maximum. The earliest entry point for Dior has to be number 4. Otherwise, it's a wasted resource. If they choose to send Jadeja up the order. Now, previous matches when the track has been on the slower side, I think it's been a poor move. In this case, Mumbai have not got the spin strength, and they'll be bowling the paces a lot more. The first 10 overs is a setting phase at this venue. I'm not saying I'd send Jadeja out at 4. Pretend if 2 wickets go down, they want to send him out at 4. It'd be a more justifiable move than doing that in the slower tracks when you've got to get that start in the power play, and we know he takes that 14 balls against spin. So if they do that here, I'm not going to point that out as much. It's more feasible to do it here than doing it on the slower tracks. So that's what I would do. Patirana has to bowl 1 before the 10 over phase and 3 at the end. If you're just bowling 4 up in out of the last 8 when 2 of them don't have any meaning in the outcome of the match for you, there's no point. So this is what I would go with. So comparison of 11s, where here, in contrast to other venues, you've got to make sure you don't lose many wickets, get to that 40 for 1 after 6, which top 4 has got the soundness to get there. Mumbai, Rohit Sharma, Ryan Rickerson, Wu Jacks 3, Tilak Verma 4 for CSK, Ayush Matre, Rachin Ravindra, Sheikh Rashid and Dior Brevis. Rohit Sharma playing aggressively, Ryan Rickerson aggressive, Wu Jacks aggressive, Tilak Verma can play responsibly. CSK, Ayush Matre class, Rachin Ravindra class, Sheikh Rashid class, Dior Brevis, you don't know. So, by virtue, the CSK batsmen, however, facing this Mumbai Indians attack, then I feel there's, if you're combining or keeping in mind what they have to face, I don't think there's too much of an edge in this top 4, because Mumbai have got the experience, but CSK have got that virtue to be technically sound, so I don't think there's too much of an edge here. Then after 10 overs, you've got to accelerate. Who's got the ability to do that? Tilak Verma, Suryakumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Namandir, destructive combination towards the end. Then you've got Dior Brevis, Ravindra Jadeja, Shivam Dube, MS Dhoni. But I'd still feel with how well Hardik Pandya is playing, Suryakumar Yadav at number 5 can play, with Tilak Verma, how well he's playing, Namandir, how well he's playing. I'd say that MI have got the edge. Having said that, Jadeja and Dhoni may be able to go better in this match, because against a pace-dominated attack that doesn't have as much spin strength, those two may be able to fare better. We'll have to see how they go. And now on the fast bowling edge, CSK have got a very respectable combination, very good combination, Khalil Ahmed and Anshul Kamboj. However, the experience of Deepak Chahar, Bumrah both would trump any of the attacks in this competition. And the same with CSK, their spin attack trumps all the spin attacks in this competition. And I feel if they play Ashin, which they should do, they've got the ability to bowl the middle overs economically. Because of the batting edge, I am going with Mumbai Indians. They're playing at home. They've won the last 2 matches. However, I feel CSK have got their best chance with the newer signings that they've got, if they use them correctly, where they're inexperienced, but they've got the class to succeed. And I think one thing they'll be keeping in mind is the trio the Mumbai have got have not been in the best wicket-taking form. And if CSK get through that, if they still got the power hitting to capitalize at the end, I don't know. But if they get to that at least 190, but if I don't know, you think how will this attack get there? How will this bang up get there? But 190, I think, would be the score for CSK to get. If they get there, they use their bowling attack right. It's a very good bowling attack. It's been going for runs at times because it's been using correctly, but it's a very good bowling attack. If they use that, CSK can defend this score. So I won't rule them out. But I feel because of the batting might, Mumbai have got the edge. But let's see how this match goes. If you enjoy this video, please unsubscribe, share with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What choose?